Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is November 3rd, 2025. It's a Monday. We have a lot to do today. NFL, college football, NBA, NHL, soccer, the return of college basketball today, NASCAR, news and notes, and best bet. But we have to start the show with the World Series, which was a classic 7-gamer. And it was probably the best World Series we've had in a long time. I'd say the best World Series since the Cubs and the Guardians in 2016, but you can make a case the Dodgers and the Astros in 17 was really good. But we've had some good ones over the years, but this one probably was the best one since the Cubs won in 2016. As Friday night was a Game 6. Dodgers win that one 3-1. The game ended controversy as in the bottom of the ninth there was a ground rule double by Addison Barger, who the ball got stuck at the bottom of the wall. So they called it a ground rule double. That was so unlucky. And it turns into second and third with one out. Ernie Clement popped up the first, and then, one. It was no outs, actually. No outs. It was the pop-up, and then Andre Jimenez was up, and then he lined into the double play. Berger goes to run the 30, runs back, gets tagged out of second base. That game ends, and that was just wild. I think the Dodgers, the best thing that happened to them in that game and in the series, now looking back, was that ball getting stuck. Because if that ball doesn't get stuck, the Blue Jays probably win the World Series. And then Game 7 happens. Extra inning classic. Dodgers with a 5-4 win over the Jays. They win it in 7. And they are back-to-back champions. The first back-to-back champs since the late 90s Yankees. You knew if anybody was going to do it, it was going to be the Dodgers. Or maybe you could argue the Astros had a shot at back-to-back as well. But this Dodgers group had the best shot. In Game 7, there was drama too. So Toronto was up 4-2 going into the 8th inning. They're 6 outs away from a championship, looking like they're bouncing back like they always did in the playoffs. Top of the 8th, Max Muncy home run makes it 4-3. Top of the 9th, Miguel Rojas off of the closer, Jeff Hoffman, ties it at 4-4. And in Toronto had first and second, one out in the bottom of the 9th. They don't get it. And then top of the 11th, home run, Will Smith makes it 5-4. And then bottom of the 11th, there was drama as well, as the Blue Jays had a shot. They had the winning run at the plate. So Vlad Guerrero doubles to start the inning. And then Bichette singled and gets pinch ran for by Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Addison Berger walked. So his bases loaded, no outs. And then double play Alejandro Kirk. And then that's how it ended. But wait a second. Oh, there was one out. Oh, wait, no, there wasn't. So, Vlad Guerrero leadoff double. Bo Bichette Oh, wait, no. Bo Bichette didn't single. That was bottom of the ninth. Kiner Falefa sacrificed 1 out. Addison Berger walked, so it was 2 on, 1 out. That was my mistake. And then the double play ended the series. And I thought the Blue Jays were the better team, but the Dodgers probably deserved the win. The Dodgers played sloppy at home in games 4 and 5. The Blue Jays took advantage, and they were relentless after losing the 18-inning game. And now the Dodgers took advantage of the Blue Jays' mistakes, the simple base-running blunders. Kind of felt like the Yankees last year against the Dodgers. So, but the Dodgers still had to earn it, though. They had to hit those 2 home runs. After Bo Bichette hits the big 3-run shot in the bottom of the 3rd inning to get Toronto going offensively. And it was just incredible. Incredible series. World Series MVP was Yoshi Yamamoto, who unexpectedly came out of the bullpen in Game 7 and was brilliant. He got the win in Game 7. He was fantastic in Game 6, and then he was fabulous in Game 2. So, to me, MVP was either him or Ohtani. But I think because the Dodger offense as a whole hit like 203 in the series, and Ohtani was a part of that, and Ohtani didn't pitch well in the one game, and I think that's what cost the Dodgers. And he gave up the home run to Bichette. I think Ohtani's pitching cost him the MVP, to be honest with you. And that's why he didn't win it. He gave up the home run to Bichette. And then he had 2 hits in Game 7, to be fair. He had 265. It looks like in the series or in the playoffs. But yeah. So he wasn't special. He was special in the one game against the Brewers, but he wasn't. I mean, and then obviously Game 3 he was great, but Yamamoto did deserve the MVP. Although a couple days ago I said on the podcast that Ohtani was a lock, but he pitched poorly, so that's why he didn't win it, and Yamamoto won it instead. So great season, Dodgers back-to-back titles. Dave Roberts, I think, has really shut up a lot of haters. I think that this team won't stop spending. You're going to be hearing them for Kyle Tucker. They hit 204 in the World Series, for crying out loud. I don't think the Dodgers are going to get away with hitting 204 in a series of this caliber for much longer. So I do think the Dodgers, to me, they have to improve their bullpen. They have to, I think offensively things need to be upgraded, especially how they hit in the playoffs. And they got away with it because of how great their pitching is. So I do think they have to improve. And they're still the favorites, and they're going to be the favorites next year. Are they, now the question is, are they the best team in sports right now? I'm going to say yes. You can make a case for the Oklahoma City Thunder, but to me, it's the Dodgers, and it's because of Ohtani and all the other cast and characters around them, like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Yamamoto. And I know OKC's with Shea and Chet and Jalen Williams. But I think that the Dodgers, they have back-to-back, and to me it's them and the Thunder and everybody else in sports. Blue Jays, great season. A lot to be proud of. They were the best team in the American League this year and probably should have won the series. I thought they were the better team, and I think that their fundamentals let them down at home. And unfortunately, the history of the city reared its ugly head with, like, you've seen the Maple Leafs blow all these game sevens, and the Raptors blew a game seven against the Nets one year, and then the Raptors were a Kawhi Leonard shot from losing to the Sixers that one year, not winning that title. So it's like the city's history and their fundamentals came back to haunt them. But John Schneider and company have a lot to be proud of. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a superstar. I don't think this series goes 7 without Bo Bichette. I think him coming back gave the Blue Jays a lift. George Springer was hurt a couple games, but he came back and still was there. And now the question is for Toronto, what's next? I think that they have their offense is the strength of their team. I think they found themselves an ace in Trey Savage. I think that Kevin Gausman's really good. I'm not sure if Max Scherzer still has it. But yeah, I think they need help at starting pitching, and they could use some improvements in their bullpen as well. But the sad thing is, they might not even be the favorites in their own division next year. Garrett Cole's coming back. The Yankees found themselves another young stud in Cam Schlittler. Aaron Judge is still playing in that division. The Yankees have the money to improve their bullpen. So it's them and the Yankees in the American League East. Then the 2026 World Series odds were out, and if I'm not mistaken, the Yankees have shorter odds than the Blue Jays, and that's because Vegas is banking on Garrett Cole coming back and being Garrett Cole, and Aaron Judge hitting 50 home runs again. So, and Max Fried, replicating the year he had. Yeah. So it's Dodgers plus 350, Yanks 7-1, Phils 10-1, Mets. Why the fuck are the Mets 11-1? That is ridiculous. That's pure fucking favoritism because they're a team in New York. I mean, you can say the same about the Yankees too, but at least the Yankees have pitching. The Mets do not. Seattle 12-1, Houston 13-1. The Red Sox are ridiculously 17-1. But the thing with the Mets and the Red Sox, I think the price in the Mets being 11-1, they're factoring in that they're going to add some pitching in the offseason. Same with Boston. The Braves are a ridiculous 20-1. They didn't even make the playoffs. Toronto's also 20-1. I think there's value on the Blue Jays for next year, to be honest with you guys. And why are the Orioles 27-1? Like, they were awful this year. The Brewers and the Cubs have value each at 22-1. Detroit's 27 with Skubal and Milwaukee. So, the Dodgers are rightful favorites. The Yankees are the favorites to come out of the American League. The Blue Jays, for some reason, why are the Red Sox ahead of them? Because they have Boston in front of their name. That's why. And maybe people thought that Toronto was a fluke. So I think the market's already disrespecting the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think they're better than the Red Sox. And you can make a case they're better than the Yankees. But the Yankees, like I said, have Garrett Cole coming back and Aaron Judge is on their team. So that's why the Yankees have better odds, significantly better odds than the Blue Jays. But I disagree with that. I think the Blue Jays should be ahead of the Red Sox. And not only they should be definitively ahead of the Red Sox and closer, very, very close with the Yankees in the American League. That is not fair to the Toronto Blue Jays, how disrespected they're already in the market. All right, we'll do more baseball offseason stuff soon. I think today they're going to start announcing the awards on MLB Network. Okay, now we'll move on to the NFL. We will recap the weekend and look ahead to the games, or the game, I should say, being played tonight. There's only one Monday night game this week. All right, Patriots over the Falcons 24-23, Chargers over the Titans 27-20, Niners over the Giants 34-24, Bears over the Bengals 47-42, and what was the craziest game of the day? Steelers over the Colts 27-20, Broncos over the Texans 18-15. The most impressive win of the day, the Minnesota Vikings 27-24 over the Detroit Lions, although Pittsburgh might have something to say about that. Panthers over the Packers 16-13, Jaguars over the Raiders 30-29 overtime. Raiders, good decision going for two, but it just didn't work out. Rams over the Saints 34-10. Bills over the Chiefs 28-21. And the Seahawks over the Commanders 38-14 in a game where Jaden Daniels dislocated his elbow. Ouch. All right, tonight, 8:15 on ABC and ESPN, Cowboys hosting the Cards. My line's Cowboys by 6, total 53, but without Kyler Murray, I have it at 11. And it is Cowboys by 3, total 53.5. I'm laying the 3 with Dallas. I know that it's a rich price, but I'm willing to do it because this is a game the Cowboys absolutely have to have, and Kyler Murray might not even be playing. So I'm laying the 3 at the minus 120 with the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, now we'll move on to college football. Very busy weekend, of course, in the sport. We'll begin with Friday night. Number 25, Memphis over Rice, 38-14. North Carolina over Syracuse, 27-10. So Bill Belichick gets his first ACC win. And who knows, maybe his only of the season. Louisiana Tech over Sam Houston, 55-14. Saturday, number 1, Ohio State over Penn State, 38-14. Number 2, Indiana over Maryland, 55-10. Number 5, Georgia over Florida, 24-20. Number 7, Ole Miss over South Carolina, 34-14. NC State over number 8, Georgia Tech, 48-36. Number 20, Texas over number 9, Vandy, 34-31. SMU upsets number 10, Miami, 26-20 in overtime. Number 12, Notre Dame over BC, 25-10. Number 13, Texas Tech over Kansas State, 43-20. Number 18, Oklahoma over number 14, Tennessee, 33-27. Number 15, Virginia over Cal, 31-21. Number 16, Louisville over Virginia Tech, 28-16. Number 24, Utah over number 17, Cincinnati, 45-14. Number 21, Michigan over Purdue, 21-16. West Virginia upsets number 22, Houston, 45-35. Number 23, USC over Nebraska, 21-17. Rutgers over Illinois, 35-13. Duke over Clemson, 46-45. Baylor over UCF, 30-3. UConn over UAB, 38-19. Army over Air Force, 2017. North Texas over Navy, 31-17. Buffalo over Bowling Green, 28-3. Arizona State over Iowa State, 24-19. East Carolina over Temple, 45-14. New Mexico over UNLV, 40-35. Minnesota over Michigan State, 23-20 in overtime. Pitt over Stanford, 35-20. Liberty over Delaware, 59-30. Western Kentucky over New Mexico State, 35-16. Fresno State over Boise State, 30-7. Old Dominion over UL Monroe, 31-6. Louisiana over South Alabama, 31-22. Mississippi State over Arkansas, 38-35. Kansas over Oklahoma State, 38-21. Western Michigan over Central Michigan, 24-21. Arizona over Colorado, 52-17. San Diego State over Wyoming, 24-7. Kentucky over Auburn, 10-3. Oregon State over Washington State, 10-7. Florida State over Wake, 42-7. Arkansas State over Troy, 23-10. And San Jose State over Hawaii, 45-38. Oh, and I think I missed an NFL result. Niners over the Giants, 34-24. I don't remember if I said that or not. But there you go, in case I missed that one. Okay, NBA time. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to tonight's games. Friday, NBA Cup group play. Hawks over the Pacers, 128-108. Celtics over the Sixers, 109-108. Raptors over the Cavs, 112-101. Lakers over the Grizzlies, 117-112. Suns over the Jazz, 118-96. Bulls over the Knicks, 135-125. Blazers over the Nuggets, 109-107. Clippers over the Pelicans, 126-124 on a buzzer beater by Kawhi Leonard. Saturday, Kings over the Bucks, 135-133. Terrible loss for the Bucks. T-Wolves over the Hornets, 122-105. Pacers over the Warriors, 114-109. Magic over the Wizards, 125-94. Rockets over the Celtics, 128-101. And the Pistons over the Mavs, 122-120 in Mexico City. Sunday, Thunder over the Pelicans, 137-106. Sixers over the Nets, 129-105. Hornets over the Jazz, 126-103. Cavs over the Hawks, 117-109. Knicks over the Bulls, 128-116. Raptors over the Grizz, 117-104. Suns over the Spurs, 130-118. And the Lakers over the Heat, 130-120. All right, 7 o'clock on Peacock, T-Wolves Nets from Brooklyn. My line, I didn't do totals. T-Wolves 4.25. And it is 9 and 227.5. That's ridiculous without Anthony Edwards. I'm taking the Brooklyn getting the points to be competitive at home. Bucks Pacers. My line's Bucks 6.5, and it's 6 and 235.5. Total over. 7:30 Jazz Celtics. My line is Celtics by 10, and it's 10.5, 233.5 over. Wizards Knicks. My line's Knicks 13 and 3/4, and it's 12.5, 235.5. Another over. 8 o'clock Mavs Rockets. Mine's Rockets 12.5, and it is 13 and 224.5. No Anthony Davis. Under. Pistons Grizzlies. My line is Pistons 2.5, and it's 4.5, 235.5. I'll take Memphis in the 2 and the hook. John Morant could be the best guy on the court. 9 o'clock Kings Nuggets. My line is the Nuggets by 15.25, and it is 11.5, 236.5. I'll lay the points with Denver. 10 o'clock NBA TV Lakers Blazers. My line is the Lakers only by 1/4, and it's Blazers 9, total 228.5. That's, I mean, is Luka out too? Like, why is that 9? If Luka's out too, then Portland, I would make so is Luka out? It looks like Luka's out. Then why is that number that high? So I'm gonna look. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's out, and so is Austin Reeves. All right, I have to readjust. That makes way more sense now. So that's another 12 points. Wow. So because I made these, I did my projections before they were announced out. So now I have Portland by 11 3/4. So now I lay the 9 with Portland with those guys out. So they have nobody tonight. Nobody. And Heat Clippers, last but not least. That is at 10:30. My line is the Clippers by 9 3/4, and it's 8.5 and 226.5. I'll take the over, but I don't feel good about that because Miami, I don't trust as an over team very much. Okay, now I'll move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to tonight. Usually Mondays in hockey's late, and Tuesday and Thursday are the heavy days, and the NBA's heavy days are usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah, only 4 hockey games tonight. Friday, Avs over the Golden Knights 4-2, Isles over the Caps 3-1, Ducks over the Red Wings 5-2. Saturday, Bruins over the Hurricanes 2-1, Jets over the Pens 5-2, Preds over the Flames 4-2, Sharks over the Avs 3-2 OT, Panthers over the Stars 4-3 shootout, Sabres over the Capitals 4-3 shootout, Habs over the Senators 4-3 OT, Leafs over the Flyers 5-2, Jackets over the Blues 3-2, Wild over the Canucks 5-2, Rangers over the Kraken 3-2 in OT, Devils over the Kings 4-1, and the Oilers over the Blackhawks 3-2 in overtime. And then yesterday, Lightning over the Mammoth 4-2, Isles over the Jackets 3-2, Flames over the Flyers 2-1, Ducks over the Devils 4-1, and the Red Wings over the Sharks 3-2 in a shootout. All right, tonight, only 4 games. 7:30, NHL Network, Penguins, Maple Leafs. Great game. Unexpectedly a great game with Pittsburgh off to their 8-3-2 start with 18 points. Toronto's a -182 favorite. Penguins plus 150 over under 6.5. Overs -115, unders -105. Pens plus 1.5 is -162. Leafs -1.5 plus 132. The Pens have been a major surprise all season. I'm going to go over 6.5 -115. 8:30 Oilers Blues. Oilers -130, Blues plus 110, over under 6.5, overs plus 104, unders -128. Oilers -1.5 plus 182. Blues +1.5 is -230. Oilers have been kind of mediocre. They lost to the Rangers recently. They took overtime to beat the Blackhawks. I'm gonna go over 6.5 plus 104. Canucks Predators. Both teams have 12 points. Preds -115. Canucks -104 over under 5.5. Overs -118. Unders -104. Canucks +1.5 is -265. Preds -1.5 plus 210. So pick 'em essentially. I'm gonna lay -115 with the Preds at home. 10 o'clock, Blackhawks Kraken. The Blackhawks off to a surprising 5-4-3 start. Kraken 5-2 and 4. Obviously 4 OT losses, including the other night against the Rangers. Kraken -156. Blackhawks +130 over under 5.5. Overs -130. Unders +114. Blackhawks +1.5 is -92. Kraken -1.5 plus 154. I'm going to take the Blackhawks at +130. I actually like them as a road dog. The best guy on the ice might be Bedard. Okay, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results of note from the weekend and today, and then we'll look ahead a little bit tomorrow if necessary. So Friday, Getafe over Girona 2-1 in La Liga. Bundesliga, Dortmund over Augsburg 1-0. Liga MX, Necaxa over Santos 4-1. Juarez over Atletico de Sony 2-1. And Cruz Azul over Puebla 3-0. Dutch Eredivisie, PSV Eindhoven over Fortuna 5-2. ELC Wrexham over Coventry City 3-2. The Pro League, Al Akdod over Al Najma 2-1. Al Hilal over Al Shabab 1-0. Al Ettifaq and Al Hazim 2-2 draw. We didn't have any MLS Friday night playoff games, huh? Saturday, Premier League, Brighton and Hove over Leeds 3-0. Arsenal over Burnley 2-0. Crystal Palace over Brentford 2-0. Fulham over Wolverhampton 3-0. Nottingham, Manchester United 2-2 draw. Chelsea over Tottenham 1-0. Liverpool over Aston Villa 2-0. Up, just coming down now. Kyler Murray out tonight. La Liga, Villarreal over Real Vallecano 4-0. Atletico Madrid over Sevilla 3-0. Real Sociedad over Athletic 3-2. Real Madrid over Valencia 4-0. Bundesliga, FC Heidenheim Eintracht 1-1 draw. FC Union Berlin, FC Freiburg 1-1 or 0-0 draw. Mainz Werder Bremen 1-1 draw. RB Leipzig over VfB Stuttgart 3-1. Mönchengladbach over St. Pauli 4-0. And Bayern over Bayer Leverkusen 3-0. MLS. NYCFC Charlotte 0-0 draw. And it ended up in penalties. And NYCFC got it done to force a game 3. The Union 3-0 over Chicago. That was impressive. On the road, proving they're worthy of the 1 seed there because the market undervalued them. There must have been injuries or something or some doubt. Or maybe they overrated Chicago, which they probably did. So they win 2-0 that series. Nashville over Miami 2-1. That's 1-1. So FC Dallas, Vancouver, 1-1 draw, went to penalties. Vancouver won it, and they advance. So they win the series 2-0. And in Portland, San Diego, 2-2 draw. And that series is now tied, and that's going to 3 games. Liga MX, Atlas, Toluca, 0-0 draw. Monterrey, Tigres, 1-1 draw. America over Leon, 2-0. Syria, Udinese over Atalanta, 1-0. Napoli, Como, 0-0 draw. And Juventus over Cremonese, 2-1. French League 1, PSG over Nice, 1-0. Paris FC over AS Monaco, 1-0. Marseille over Ajax, 1-0. Dutch Eredivisie, Ajax, Heerenveen, 1-1 draw. NAC Breda over Go Ahead Eagles, 1-0. Feyenoord over FC Volendam, 3-1. Telstar, Excelsior, 2-2 draw. Super League, Chelsea over London City, 2-0. Man City over West Ham, 1-0. And then Sunday, EPL, West Ham over Newcastle, 3-1. Man City over AFC Bournemouth, 3-1. La Liga, Celta Vigo over Levante 2-1. Alaves over Espanyol 2-1. Barcelona over Elche 3-1. Real Betis over Mallorca 3-0. Bundesliga, FC Cologne over Hamburg 4-1. Hoffenheim over VfL Wolfsburg 3-2. MLS, Columbus over Cincy 4-0. That's 1-1 now. They force a game 3. And LAFC over Austin 4-1 as they win the series 2-0. That was a pretty impressive performance by them as well. The Women's League, KC over San Diego 2-1. Chicago over Angel City 2-1. North Carolina over Gotham 3-2. Orlando, Seattle 1-1 draw. Portland over Houston 2-0. Louisville over Bad 1-0. Utah over Washington 1-0. Liga MX, UNAM over Tijuana 4-1. Querétaro over Mazatlan 1-0. Guadalajara over Pachuca 1-0. Syria, Inter over Verona 2-1. Lecce over Fiorentina 1-0. Torino Pisa 2-2 draw. Bologna over Parma 3-1. And AC Milan over AS Roma 1-0. League 1, Rennes over Strasbourg 4-1. Lens over Lorient 3-0. Lille over Angers 1-0. Metz over Nantes 2-0. Toulouse Le Havre 0-0 draw. Lyon Brest 0-0 draw. Dutch Eredivisie, Heracles over PC Zwolle 8-2. FC Groningen over FC 20. I'm sorry, that was a 1-1 draw. AS Alkmaar over Sparta 1-0. And FC Utrecht over NEC Nijmegen 1-0. Super League, Aston Villa Everton 3-3 draw. Man United over Brighton and Hove 3-2. Arsenal over Leicester City 4-1. And Tottenham over Liverpool 2-1. All right, now today's results so far. EPL, Sunderland Everton 1-1 draw. Real Oviedo Osasuna 0-0 draw. Serie A Genoa over Sassuolo 2-1. Lazio over Cagliari 2-0. And then tonight we have an MLS game 2, 10:45 on Fox Sports 1. Seattle and Minnesota. Seattle -210, Minnesota +490, draw +340. Minnesota leads the series 1-0, but Seattle has to have this game. I'm going over 3.5 goals at +152. Trying to see if there's anything tomorrow that I want to touch on before. All right, 2 Champions Leagues games tomorrow that I want to pick. That start before 3 o'clock. At 12:45, Napoli and Frankfurt. Napoli -165, Frankfurt +430, draw +330. Napoli should win that. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals +146. And Slavia and Arsenal. Arsenal -425, Slavia is 11-1, the draw is 5-1. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at +120. All right, so there you have it for soccer. Okay, college basketball begins today. We have a ton of games. Some of them on neutral sites. Some of them on home campuses. So, without further ado, here we go. At the time of this recording, the following games that we are about to do will be played before the podcast is posted. So that's why we are recording these picks now. All right, the first game today, 8 o'clock in the morning, on YouTube. Yes, YouTube. Winthrop, Queens. My line is Queens by 3. And it is Winthrop 4.5, total 163.5. So Queens is favored, Winthrop's favored because they're in the Big South, not the Atlantic Sun. Give me Queens +4.5, +190 outright. The game's in South Carolina. But that's not where Winthrop plays. If that's the case, then I have to change my line, which is absurd. Let's see. Oh, it is Winthrop's home. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4.5. 4 Yeah. So, never mind, guys. I'll pick Queen to cover, but, Winthrop is going to win because they're home. I didn't realize that was a home game for Winthrop. My apologies. Right off the back of mistake. Right off the bat. All right, next up, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on YouTube. Bradley and St. Bonaventure. My line is Woj by 1. St. Bonaventure by 1. Bradley is a 2.5 point favorite. Total 140.5. I know Bradley's one of the favorites in the Mountain or Missouri Valley. Give me St. Bonaventure plus 2.5 and plus 114 outright. There's your dog. 11:30. Arlington Baptist East Texas A&M skip. Texas A&M San Antonio Lamar skip. 1 o'clock College of Biblical Studies Prairie A&M skip. 1:30 also on YouTube. Omaha Murray State from the Sanford Pentagon in Sioux Falls. Obviously, nobody plays here. This is a popular venue. Sometimes the Summit League tournaments here. So you would think Omaha's a little bit of an advantage. I have them as a 1 point favorite over Murray State. That's the game. And it is Murray State 4.5, total 149.5. Again, I think this is based on the past. Give me Omaha plus 4.5 and plus 184 outright. So I like all the dogs so far. And 4 o'clock on YouTube from Sioux Falls. Northern Arizona Drake. My line's Drake 5.5. It's 10.5. Total's 143.5. Give me Northern plus the 10.5. That is way too high. All right, 6:30 Fox Sports 1. Quinnipiac number 5 St. John's from the Lou in the Bronx. My line St. John's 25 is 26.5. Total's 157.5. I'm gonna go with the over. St. John's is loaded offensively. Georgia State Eastern Michigan. I have Eastern by 3, and it's 3.5, 149.5. Woo! These lines are very close to what I'm projecting. Over. High Point Furman. My line's a High Point by 2, and it's 3.5. Total 153.5. Whoa, that's another one that's close. Under. That's too high. Southern Miss and Buffalo. My line's Buffalo by 7, 2.5, and 153.5. I'll lay the 2.5 with Buffalo. IU Indy Ohio State. My line is Ohio State by a whopping 41. It's 33.5. Totals 171.5. I'm going to lay it with Ohio State. Coppin State, Maryland, Big Ten Network. Mine's Maryland 20.5. And it's 27.5. Totals 139.5. I'll take Coppin State plus the points. Morgan State, Georgetown. Mine is Georgetown by 31. And it is Georgetown 27.5, total 154.5. So I have to lay to 27.5 with Georgetown. All right, here's a big one. 7 o'clock. TNT from Vegas. Number 3, Florida. Number 13, Arizona from T-Mobile Bull Arena. My line is the Gators by 12. I know it's lower than that. I saw the line already. It's 3.5 on ESPN bet, but I'm going to check FanDuel, see if it has the same. Yeah, Florida 3.5 total 163.5. I'll lay the 3.5 with Florida. I just think they're better. They're the reigning champs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won by double digits. That's what my projections say. New Haven number 4 UConn. Welcome to Division 1 New Haven. My line's UConn by a whopping 56.5. And it is, I know it's probably jacked because it's UConn. 42.5. Totals 145.5. I'll lay the big number with UConn. Southern at number 14. Arkansas on the SEC Network lands Arkansas by 37. And it's 26.5 totals, 150.5 LA with Arkansas. Mercer, number 18, Tennessee, lands Tennessee 34. And it is 28.5 and 143.5 LA with Tennessee. Colgate, number 22, Michigan State, lines Sparty 18.5. And it's 21.5 total, 144.5. I'll take Colgate in the points. That is, I'm surprised that it came out that low, and same for my projection. Central Arkansas, number 25, North Carolina. My line's UNC by 45, and it is 31.5 totals, 157.5 LA with Carolina. Missouri, Howard. And by the way, guys, I didn't project all the games tonight, but I did as most as I could. So I apologize for that in advance. My line's Howard as a 16.5 point home underdog to Missouri. And it's 20.5 total, 158.5. I'm going to take Howard getting the points. It's a lot of points. Coastal Carolina, Western Michigan, runs Western by 3. There's a lot of Mid-American Sun Belt games tonight, which I noticed on the schedule. 2.5 and 145.5. I'll take the over. Arkansas State, Ohio, mine's Ohio by 11. And it's 3.5 and 159.5. That's low. I'm going to lay with Ohio. Marshall, UMass. My line is Marshall by 7. And it is UMass 4.5 total, 151.5. I think that is high. Give me Marshall plus 4.5 and plus 160 to win outright. So that's my first underdog outright of college basketball this year. Wofford, George Mason, minus George Mason 18.5. And it is 14.5 and 139.5. I'm going to lay the 14.5 with George Mason. South Alabama, Toledo. Oh, he skipped the game. Western Illinois, Radford. I don't have the line for that, so I apologize for that one. And then South Alabama, Toledo. And I have Toledo by 7. And it is, I assume Toledo's favored. Yeah, only 2.5. Total's 150.5. LA with Toledo. App State, Central Michigan. I have Central by 1. And Central is 1.5. Total 142.5. I'll take the over. Texas State, Bowling Green. I have Bowling Green by 1. And it's 4.5. Total's 144.5. I'll take Texas State plus the points. Fairfield, Penn State. I only have Penn State by 7. Penn State basketball is no bueno. So that's a decent, they might lose a bye game candidate potentially. Usually if you're at the bottom of your rankings prediction for your league, then you are likely to lose a bye game. Penn State 15.5 total 148.5. I'll take Fairfield in the points. Troy Kent State. My line's Kent State by 5. And Kent State is Kent State, 3.5. Total 142.5. Over. Wagner VCU. Mine's VCU 26.5. And it's 25.5. Total 131.5. I'll take the over. Lafayette St. Joe's. My line's St. Joe's 22.5. And it's 13.5. Total's 103.5. I'll lay it. Louisiana Ball State. Mine's Ball State by 11. And it's 4.5. Total's 141.5. I'll lay the points there too. Bryant Siena. My line is Siena by 9. And it is Siena 9.5. Total 151.5. Over, even though that's a total that's high. James Madison, Akron. I have Akron by 3, but I know James Madison's probably favored because they have a good reputation in the sport. Oh, Akron's a huge favorite. 8.5. Whoa. Total 153.5. I'm more than happy to be betting on James Madison plus 8.5. Are you kidding me? I did not expect that. I thought maybe James Madison would be that big of a favorite, but okay. Maybe I undervalued Akron. Who knows? Navy Presbyterian. I have Navy by 12. And it's 3.5. Total 141.5. I don't like laying points on the road, but I'm doing it here. Western Carolina, Cincinnati. I have Cincy by 21. And it is I can't find that game. 22.5. And the total is 143.5. I'll go over. Charleston Southern Virginia Tech. I have Tech 19.5. And it's 18.5. Total 144.5. I'm over. Binghamton, Syracuse. I have Syracuse 21.5. I think Syracuse is going to surprise some people. And it is exactly 21.5. So it was 153.5. I'll go with the over. Youngstown State, Pitt. My line is Pitt 14.5. And it's 14.5 exactly. Total 145.5. I'll go over to NC Central, NC State. Mine's State by 46. And it's 31.5. Total 145.5. I'll lay it. BCFAU on ESPNU. My line's BC only by 2.5. And it's Florida Atlantic 1.5. Total 148.5. I'll take BC plus the 1.5 and plus 110 outright. Stetson, Rhode Island. My line's Rhode Island by 5. And it is 18.5. Whoa, total 152.5. I'll take Stetson in the points. That's a lot. Niagara, Duquesne. My line's Duquesne 16. And Duquesne. That game you can't find either. 17.5. Total 139.5. I'll go over. That's low. Canisius, Dayton. My line's Dayton 34. And it is 25.5, 142.5. I'll lay the points with Dayton. New Hampshire, Clemson. I have Clemson 33.5. And it's 29.5, total 146.5. I'll lay it with Clemson. Rider, Virginia. My line is Virginia by 30. And it is 27 after 147 FLA with Virginia. LIU Notre Dame. My line is Notre Dame by 26. And it's 15 after 135 and F. I like Notre Dame. I'll lay the points. Delaware Bucknell. My line's Bucknell 1.5. And it is exactly right. Bucknell 1 after 148.5. I'll go over to 7:15 Marist Xavier. My Xavier 17. And it is 12.5 total 1-3 in FLA with Xavier. Holy Cross Providence. My line's Providence by 40. It's 23.5 total 152 in FLA with Providence. Jersey Battle. St. Peter's Seton Hall. From the Prudential Center. My line's Seton Hall 15. It's 13.5 total 128.5. I'll go over. That is way too low of a total. Mississippi Valley State UAB. My line's UAB 32. It's 35.5 total 145.5. I can't believe I'm doing it. I have to take Miss Valley against the spread. Boston University Northeastern. My line is BU by 8, but Northeastern's a 2.5 point choice. Total 142.5. I'll take BU plus the 2.5 and plus 118 to win. Tennessee Tech, Western Kentucky. I don't have. Bellarmine, Georgia. My line is Georgia 36, and it's 22.5 total 150.5. I'll lay the points. Maryland Eastern Shore, Georgia Tech. I have Georgia Tech 26.5. It's 29.5 total 140.5. I'll take UMass in the points. Air Force Belmont. My line is Belmont 6.5, and it's 15.5 total 144.5. I'll take Air Force in the points. 8 o'clock CBS Sports Network. Lehigh number 2 Houston. Mine's Houston by a whopping 40, and it's 36.5 total 136.5. I'll lay with Houston. North Dakota number 15 Alabama. I have Bama 35.5. And it is 35.5 and 170.5. I've got a couple of these lines exactly. I'm going under. I think that's too high. Fairleigh Dickinson, number 69, will save Iowa State by 35. And it is 37.5 total 147.5. I'll take FDU and the points. Green Bay, number 19, Kansas. I have Kansas by a whopping 40. And it's 30.5 total 152.5. I'll lay with Kansas. Bethune-Cookman, number 20, Auburn. I have Auburn by 27. And it is 24.5, 153.5. I'll lay with Auburn. Campbell, number 24, Wisconsin. My line's Wisconsin 34. And it's 20.5 total 150.5. I'll lay that with Wisconsin, Northwestern, and Texas, or Northwestern State, Texas A&M. I don't have for you. Gardner-Webb, Minnesota. I have Minnesota 16. And it's 25.5 total 146.5. I'll take Gardner-Webb in the points. Florida A&M and South Florida. I have USF by 30. And USF is giving 26.5 total is 152.5. I'll lay with South Florida. All right, let's go through the rest of the slate. I did project one game, and it's an obvious one. It's a big one too. Rest of 8 o'clock. West Georgia, Nebraska, Lipscomb, Vandy, Hofstra, UCF, Yale Monroe, Northern Illinois, Detroit, Mercy, UIC, UAlbany, Marquette, Chicago State, DePaul, Hampton, Milwaukee, Indiana State, Charlotte, Mercyhurst, Northwestern, UT, Rio Grande Valley, Baylor, American Wake, Tarleton, SMU, Southeast Missouri State, St. Louis, Cleveland State, Loyola, Chicago, Maine, George Washington, Jacksonville, Miami, Southeast Louisiana, Ole Miss, New Orleans, TCU, Oakland, number 7, Michigan, and 8:30 on Fox Sports 1. Big Ten, Eric Jackson State, number 17, Illinois. Sanford, Tulane. St. Francis, Oklahoma. Utah Tech, South Dakota. 9 o'clock, South Carolina State, number 11, Louisville. Texas Southern, number 21, Gonzaga. South Dakota State, Merrimack. Incarnate Word, Colorado State. Purdue, Fort Wayne, Grand Canyon. Towson, Loyola, Maryland. San Jose State, Utah. Montana State, Colorado. And here's the game I had to project. 9:30 TNT. Villanova, number 8 BYU from Vegas. My line is BYU by 7. And it's 9.5, so 153.5. I'm gonna take Villanova getting the 9.5. I think that they may hang around this game. I know BYU is gonna be very good. If this game was obviously in Provo, BYU would be a bigger favorite. So I'm gonna lay the 7 with BYU against Villanova. All right, Cal Poly USC, North Dakota State, Oregon State, Idaho Wazoo, 10 o'clock St. Thomas, St. Mary's, Denver, Seattle, Cal State, Bakersfield, Cal, 10:30 Big Ten Network, Eastern Washington, number 12, UCLA, SC Upstate, Cal Baptist, and 11 o'clock is Arkansas Pine Bluff and UW. Okay, now we'll move on to NASCAR from the weekend. We will go over the results from championship weekend. We'll start with the truck from Friday night from Phoenix. Your winner of the race, Corey Heim, second time Majeski, third Caden Honeycutt, fourth Lane Riggs, fifth Roger Caruth, sixth Jake Garcia, seventh Corey LaJoy, eighth Chandler Smith, ninth Tyler Reef, 10th Jack Wood, the rest Matt Mills, Stephon Parsons, Matt Crafton, Tanner Ankrum, Nathan Bird, Luke Baldwin, Spencer Boyd, Greg Van Alst, Frankie Muniz, Clayton Green, Tanner Gray, Caleb Costner, Cole Butcher, Grant Effinger, Tony Breedinger, Connor Mozak, Bailey Curry, Brent Cruz, Ben Rhodes, Andres Perez de Lara, Gio Ruggiero, Mason Mazzeo, Daniel Hemrick, and Dawson Sutton. And then your championship winner, Corey Heim. And then second time Majeski, third Caden Honeycutt, fourth Tyler Ankrum. And then the Xfinity on Saturday night from Phoenix. Your winner of the race, Jesse Love. Second, Eric Almirola. Third, Connor Zilch. Fourth, Brandon Jones. Fifth, Justin Allgaier. Sixth, Sammy Smith. 7th, Tanner Gray. 8th, Sheldon Creed. 9th, Austin Hill. 10th, Justin Bosnagor. The rest, Harrison Burton, Kyle Sieg, Carson Kvapil, Corey Day, Nick Sanchez, Christian X, Dean Thompson, Brendan Poole, Brendan Queen, Nick Leitz, Ryan Ellis, Connor Mozak, Anthony Alfredo, Lawless Honeyman, or Leyland Honeyman, Blaine Perkins, Josh Williams, Parker Retzlaff, Danny Dye, Stephon Parsons, Joey Gase, Garrett Smithley, Josh Belicki, Jeremy Clements, Glenn Reen, Parker Emmerling, Dawson Cram, Ryan Sieg, and Jeb Burton. And then your top 4, Jesse Love, Connor Zilch, Justin Allgaier, Carson Kvapil. And last but not least, the Cup Series. Your race winner was Ryan Blaney, second Brad Keselowski, third Kyle Larson, fourth Joey Logano, fifth Kyle Busch, sixth Denny Hamlin, seventh Josh Berry, eighth Michael McDowell, Ryan Preece, ninth, 10th Chase Elliott, the rest Chris Bell, Chris Boucher, Ross Chastain, Justin Haley, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon, Ty Gibbs, Todd Gilliland, Riley Herbst, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cole Custer, Tyler Riddick, Noah Gragson, Carson Hosfar, Zane Smith, Cody Ware, John Hunter Nemechek, J.J. Yaley, William Byron, Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon, Casey Mears, Bubba Wallace, and A.J. Allmendinger. And then your top 4, winning yet again another Cup Series title, Kyle Larson. Coming in second was Denny Hamlin, third Chase Briscoe, and fourth William Byron. All right, so goodbye to NASCAR for the season, and we'll see you in February. The sport with the shortest off season, I swear. It's them and the soccer's short too. MLS is short too. And baseball, short in terms of the 4 big ones. The longest off season's obviously football. But like of the other sports, I think NASCAR probably has the shortest off season, and then MLS is pretty short as well. Okay, now we'll do the news and notes for today. So we talked about it earlier. Jaden Daniels dislocated his elbow already. Dan Quinn came out and took responsibility for leaving him out in a blowout game. And it's just unfortunate for Washington, as now they are back to being, let's face it, irrelevant. I mean, it's unfortunate because they should be better next year with him coming back, but that team's just old. And maybe they wouldn't, and to be honest with you, they lose that game with a healthy Jaden Daniels. They're just not a good football team. They're old, they're slow, and they really need to rebuild that roster around Jaden Daniels if they want to compete with the Eagles in that division long term. So we talked about Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves all being out tonight against the Blazers. Reeves is due to right groin soreness. Dylan Harper injured his calf against the Suns, who beat the Spurs over the weekend and handed them their first loss. The Atlanta Braves name a new manager. They promote bench coach Walt Weiss. Walt Weiss been around for a while. And we'll see how he does. The Braves have a decent roster. They're going to be, I mean, in theory, they should be better with guys coming back from injury and banking on guys being better than last year, like Acuna and Strider. Edwin Diaz opts out of his contract, will be a free agent as he leaves 2 years and $37 million on the table. So Gabe Kapler got promoted to the GM of the Marlins. He was assistant GM last season with Miami. Another opt-out, Robert Suarez on the Padres, 2 for $16 left on his deal. Michael King declines an option. He'll be a free agent. Joe Alt out for the rest of the season with a high ankle sprain. That is brutal for the Chargers. They're 6-3, but they let Tennessee hang around, for crying out loud. And this team lost to the Giants already without Joe Alt. So this team's in trouble. Marshawn Lattimore tore his ACL. He's out for the season for the Commanders. The Rams are optimistic about Puka Nacua. He's to undergo scans on a rib injury. Tucker Kraft tore his ACL. He's out for the season for the Packers. That's not cool for their offense. They'll miss him. Luke McCaffrey going on IR. He'll be out for the year in all likelihood with a broken collarbone. That's brutal. And he ran back the opening kick for the Commanders last night, and they heard the Luke chant. Another brutal injury for the 49ers. Michael Williams, first round defensive end, out for the season with a torn ACL. That's brutal. He got hurt in that game, and then he left, and then the Giants got some garbage time points out of it. And then the Bills tore an Achilles. Bills DE tore his Achilles. Michael Holt. CJ Stroud left the game against Denver yesterday with a concussion. There's talks he might not play on Sunday. Samaje Perine doubtful to return against the Bears with an ankle. Keyshawn Booty left the game due to a hamstring injury against the Falcons. Aaron Rodgers flexed his hand in warm-ups as he looked like he was dealing with an issue pregame. Terry McLaurin was 2 weeks due to the quad injury. He might not be. If I'm them, just sit him for a year. If Jalen Daniels is out, why it's not worth bringing him back. Jerry Jones says the Cowboys made a trade. He won't name player, but says he'll address some things that have been our shortcomings. We need to see it to believe it, Jerry Jones. If you don't land a notable name, then I don't know what to tell you, Jerry Jones. You're just full of shit. And I'm not even a Cowboys fan, obviously, but things that he's been doing has just been pissing me off from a standpoint of just as like a fan of the sport. You get somebody excited for content. Just as a podcaster, you get me excited for possible content, and then you get nothing. The Dolphins are open to a Minka Fitzpatrick trade as he's drawing interest from multiple teams, as they should. Maybe they get something for him like they did the other time. Tua Tagovailoa will be a $99.2 million cap hit, as that's the cost of the Dolphins moving on from him in the offseason. Dylan Harper missed multiple weeks with a left calf strain. That's brutal for San Antonio. Are you fucking kidding me? The Browns more likely to buyers as they're looking to trade for quality young players. Give me a break. You're like 2-7, 3-6. I don't want to hear about the Giants being a buyer anymore either. You fucking lost to the 49ers in a game that really wasn't that close. And you don't have Neighbors. You don't have Scatterby. I understand you trying to trade for somebody to help development of Jackson Dart. I get it from that standpoint, but you're wasting future assets to go help your rookie quarterback develop. I understand that from that regard, but the only way I'd be okay with it is if it's like a buying and selling thing, or if you trade Kayvon Thibodeau to, say, a team that could use him and you get a good wide receiver prospect back or something like that could help Dart. Or you make 2 separate trades and you get a guy that can use a change of scenery or something like that. Not Jalen Waddle because because I don't think he's worth trading for. That's like a Patriots win now kind of move. Maybe that's the Giants in a year from now. The Giants trading for somebody without, say if they're just buyers and aren't sellers, that's ridiculous. That's like the Bears trading for Montez Sweat a couple years too early. That the same thing happened to the Bears a couple years ago, that they foolishly traded for Montez Sweat with hopes of the future. But how's the Bears defense looking now? Not good with Montez Sweat. And on the flip side, Washington probably should have kept Montez Sweat because that defense stunk last year. But then again, if you're the Giants, you don't want to make the same mistake Washington made with Montez Sweat a couple years ago either. So I do get the Giants not selling and buying, but yesterday's game was just so sad and pathetic. And the Giants are the Giants, and they should not be buyer. They should clean house, trade everybody not named Dart, Scatterby, Neighbors, Abdul Carter, and Brian Burns. And I guess keep Andrew Thomas too. But yeah, I have a problem with the Browns being a buyer. That's my point. I have a problem with the Giants being a buyer, unless if it's, like I said, for a change of scenery, wide receiver, and maybe the other team gets some defensive help. Or if it's like an asset back in a trade kind of thing. Like how you get a prospect in baseball back for a veteran you trade, or a young player for an NBA star you trade kind of thing. Or a young hockey prospect in a trade. Something like that. And the Dolphins already made a trade. Jalen Phillips goes to the Philadelphia Eagles. once I get the package, I'll read it down. Kayvon Thibodeau rips defensive performance. He says unacceptable after loss against the Niners, and he's right. The Ja Morant trade market is not robust as he is. So insiders have doubt about a deal if Grizzlies decide to move him. And that's because of his behavior. Let's face it, he's the Draymond Green of point guards. Josh Hart is playing through an injury as Mike Brown admits that Josh Hart's hand problem is news to me, but that's Josh Hart's fault. Josh Hart obviously wants to be out there playing and not sitting, but in reality he should sit and rest that injury because he's been playing poorly this year, and Josh Hart is not making excuses with his hand injury. That's what I like about Josh Hart. Like, he's like, no excuses. I'm always out there playing my best or trying my best. But let's face it, he's playing poorly because he has a hand injury, but he's not letting that be an excuse. But they should sit him, especially tonight against a bad Wizards team. They should sit him. Like, they're going to beat the Wizards without Josh Hart. Come on. It's not like they're playing the Cavs and they need Josh Hart. Oh, yeah, they beat the Cavs without Josh Hart. Daniel Jones was being made fun of on the internet for turning back in the Giants. Daniel Jones. That was bound to happen, obviously. Shohei is eyeing a three-peat as he's already thinking about next season at Dodgers Parade. Of course he is. There was a fan that called this shot on Ohtani back in 2012. He said, Shohei Ohtani, remember the name. He can possibly be the next phenom in the MLB. Hope Dodgers do get him. Wow. Sometimes a tweet from so long ago turns into something so viral and then you become famous for it. It could be good or bad. ICAF explains short lead as he says he was told to stay close to third before crucial ninth inning play. St. Bonaventure denies a report about Woj as he says issues statement on false news about Woj getting into altercation with officials. Yeah, I guess it's just the media being the media. The Contemporary Hall of Fame ERA ballot, Bonds and Clemens among 8 candidates. Aaron Judge was at the NYC Marathon with us. He was waiting for his wife Samantha at the finish line. But yeah, 2026 third round pick is what the Dolphins get for Jalen Phillips. I think the Dolphins could have gotten more for Phillips, maybe a second, but it's not a good third round. Maybe I think he's worth a second. The late second would have been a good price for the Dolphins to get, but great trade for Philly. He helps address the pass rush, which isn't the same as it used to be. The Bengals want a first and a Trey Hendrickson trade as they're still eyeing a top draft choice for him, as they should. Joel Embiid fined $50,000 for lewd gesture towards crowd and loss against the Celtics. I'm not surprised. Cardi B was at the Patriots game hanging out with Robert Kraft. Bad news for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola out for the year as he suffered a broken fibula against USC. That is absolutely brutal. Very sad for Nebraska. Who knows if they'll ever win a game the rest of the season with him out. A lot of people compared him to Mahomes, but I still need to see it. The Auburn Tigers fired Hugh Freeze, 15-19 over 3 seasons. We'll see where they go next. A lot of SEC teams with coaching moves: Florida, LSU, now Auburn. And that's it for news and notes. Okay, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I'm going college basketball tonight, and I'm going to lay the 3 or 3.5 with the Gators against Arizona. I just don't think Arizona is any good. And not that they're not any good. I mean, they're not on Florida's level. I know they're 13th, but I really don't trust them against the reigning champs. Maybe they cover, but not win. But I don't see them beating the Gators. So I'm going to lay 3.5 with the reigning national champion Florida Gators against the Arizona Wildcats from Vegas as my best bet of the day. And oh, by the way, the Cowboys -3 pick is the last of the Fab Five that I said I was going to tease for today. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. We'll get to everything tomorrow as well with a lot of college football. And we also have Election Day tomorrow, so I'm going to do some predictions with that as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.